Well, hi everybody. I've never seen an organisation under so much rebuttal and rebuke as what the Jehovah Witnesses are at the moment. That organisation is being opposed in every aspect and respect. They're regarded as a, just let me sort myself out here, regarded as a nuisance cult. That's the new word that's being put as to this, well, they're not a religion. They're an organisation practicing as a religion, but a religion of many false beliefs. The idea that the Jehovah Witnesses are a nuisance come about in Australia in 1941 when the Second World War was on and the Jehovah Witnesses were running radio stations in Australia. And the government began to get reports that the Jehovah Witnesses were sharing information that may have been contrary, as it were, to the war efforts, and they were regarded by the Australian government to be a nuisance. So they shut down the radio stations and barred the Jehovah Witnesses for some time in Australia. Not many people know that the Jehovah Witnesses were barred in Australia in 1941 because they were a nuisance to the war effort. Now, I've never seen an organisation under so much rebuttal and reproof for its beliefs. Just let me read some of the news that's going on with the Jehovah Witnesses right now. The Jehovah Witnesses are being persecuted in Russia, as we know. The Quebec class action alleging sexual abuse is going to proceed. Russia seizes property from the Jehovah Witnesses and it's millions of dollars worth. Here's a woman, after falling for a man outside of the Jehovah Witnesses, she's learning to balance love and faith. So faith and love, according to this Jehovah Witness woman, is not balanced in the organisation, and we know it's not. Judge authorises class action against the Jehovah Witnesses for sexual abuse victims. There's another lawsuit. Russia, Jehovah Witnesses allege 21st century Inquisition amid claim of torture. That's all being exaggerated now, just in case you didn't know. Russia detains more Jehovah Witnesses amid crackdown. So they're being a nuisance. They're being banned and they're not respecting that. I have shared on the lady that had the bloodless open heart surgery, Jehovah Witness lady that had bloodless open heart surgery in Bengaluru, and it was successful. Lucky for her. There's Danish Jehovah Witnesses. One bloke's got 6 years for extremism in Russia. The Jehovah Witnesses and the resurrection of Jesus. Here we go. The Watchtower organization says that Jesus did not rise from the dead in the same body he died in. Yet we know Thomas said to him, Lord, I doubt. And Jesus said, well, here's, put your fingers in my hands and my feet. Oh, look, this religion is a nuisance. Not only in the community, but theologically as well. Instead, it says that he rose as a spirit creature and that the material body of Jesus was taken away. Good gosh. How did they even come up with that? Man arrested after harassing Jehovah Witnesses. He's allowing his dog to chew on their literature. Now, I hope the dog's all right. I hope the dog didn't get indigestion. I think the dog's name, if I remember rightly, was Butterbean. Yeah, Butterbean the dog gnawed on some Jehovah Witness literature in Florida on the beach when Nigel, his owner, confronted the man for sharing the propaganda in public. And somehow Butterbean, the poor fellow, started gnawing on a Watchtower magazine or something of that description. And they both got in trouble. I don't know how well they recovered the literature from Butterbean, but Butterbean, obviously, even though he couldn't read, had a sense that there's something wasn't right with it. And poor old Butterbean, I hope he didn't suffer too much after reading it. And we go on, just a couple more things in the news on the Jehovah Witnesses. It says here, August Stickman executed without a trial. Jehovah's Witnesses were one of the groups of people hated by the Nazis. So that's a Nazi story. Facebook yields to Watchtower subpoena. Jehovah's Witnesses issue 6 more to YouTube. Okay, let's read this. So the Jehovah's Witnesses are on to the people that are sharing about the cult. Here we go. Southern District Court of New York continues its investigation of President Donald Trump, Michael Cohen, and other key political figures. The same stories continue to dole out in the subpoenas every week at the behest of Jehovah's Witnesses Printing Corporation, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania. Now, this week, the Watchtower organization initiated 6 new subpoena orders in the Southern District, targeting multiple independent YouTuber accounts owned by Jehovah's Witness whistleblowers. So they're calling ex-Jehovah's Witnesses whistleblowers. In a recent JW survey report released February the 20th, it was revealed that the New York-based religious organization targeted Facebook with multiple threats of contempt of court for Facebook's alleged non-compliance with a subpoena signed by Judge Kathy Siebel on October 16, 2018. Oh, look, the Watchtower, this organisation knows it's being pulled apart through its lies, through its own behaviours and teachings. The subpoena demanded the identifying information of a single Facebook user account owned by an individual in Spain who professes to be an active Jehovah's Witness. Ordinarily, accounts like this one would not be drawn to the attention of a religious sect, but the religion targeted this person because of several posts containing material which had been leaked from the inside of the organisation prior to official release. Watchtower fired up their legal machine to full thrust Monday, February the 25th, when they submitted a 9-page letter to Judge Siebel accusing Facebook of disregard for its statutory obligations and the judicial process, adding that Facebook should be held in contempt. Now, this is how vicious this organisation is. It's a vicious, wicked organisation. The letter went on to state that Facebook's conduct borders on bad faith and it should be held in contempt, directed to immediately comply with the subpoena and be sanctioned in an amount to be determined by the court for each day that it fails to comply with the subpoena. Now, my goodness me. On Wednesday, February 27th, the Watchtower suddenly withdrew its motion for contempt of court when it revealed that Facebook complied with the demand to produce the name and identifying information of the subject of the subpoena. Watchtower is now closing in on 50 subpoenas issued since mid-2017, sent to a wide-ranging group of social media sites and accounts which have hosted Jehovah's Witness videos and documents. Well, what have they got to hide? They've got to hide their lies. They've got to hide their deceptions, and they've got to hide their cunningness regarding the child sexual abuse problem that they've got in the organisation, where they inside taught that any letters and things that might be detrimental regarding the organisation should be destroyed. They've got a lot to hide. Don't you worry about it. They've been breaking the law. JW Suicides is a case. I've spoken to that lady, and so is JW Victims. And it goes on, but this organisation, okay, secrecy, okay for Watchtower, not for others. On June 1st, 1997, the Watchtower magazine released an article titled "Secrecy in the Name of the Lord," in which the organisation condemned the secrecy of notorious cults, including, I don't even know what they are. Just 3 months earlier, the Watchtower New York Corporation of Jehovah's Witnesses issued the infamous March 14 secret letter to all bodies of elders, in which church clergymen were instructed to forward all known cases of appointed JW ministers found guilty of child molestation to Watchtower headquarters. The information was to be kept strictly confidential and not shared with anyone, including law enforcement officials or child protective service agents. The Jehovah's Witness organization received those reports in sealed special blue envelopes, which form the basis for the secret database of witness child molesters. It's no secret to insiders of the Jehovah Witness organization that millions of dollars have been spent securing organizational data, including child abuse and other sensitive documents. In 2013, Watchtower purchased an independent telecom company and strung dedicated fiber cable between its New York corporate offices, used in part to isolate their ultra-private legal and service department networks. So they were hard at work hiding their information that would have helped authorities to pin down known child sexual abusers, predators, pedophiles. They spent millions to make sure the information didn't leak out. Supplementing their infrastructure, Watchtower purchased multiple $8,000 plus professional scanners capable of scanning hundreds of thousands of pages in a short period of time, used initially in their transition from Brooklyn, New York to Warwick headquarters compound. Documents are retained in multiple searchable data centers, including the United States, Japan, and the Netherlands. The level of secrecy and the recent organizational dependence on technology and legal support appears to have overshadowed the fundamental concept of Christianity. And that's where the Watchtower is a cult. It's not in line with fundamental Christianity. It lies, it deceives, it shuns, no blood transfusions, all this stuff that's not in line with the New Testament of Christianity. Do excuse me. The gap between rank and file members of the organization and those who pull the corporate strings has become a massive chasm. The average witness knows little or nothing of these things. They simply trust, blind trust. See, that's where you've got to have, and I tell you this as a theologist, you've got to be able to critically think. You can't just believe things. You've got to check everything, especially when it comes to the Bible. The gap between rank and file members of the organization and those who pull the corporate strings has become a massive. The average witness knows little or nothing of these things. They simply trust. While millions of dollars in donated funds are dispensed to satisfy the rising number of child abuse lawsuits, Jehovah Witnesses legal department has curiously found the time and finances to aggressively tackle any suspect, current or former member, who shares their content. The notion of receive free, give free does not apply to the Jehovah Witness Corporation empire. The biblical image of a poor but spiritually rich savior has become replaced with real estate, holdings, printeries, lawyers, and an insulated, self-anointed, self-appointed board of directors. But there is nothing covered up that will not be uncovered, or secret that will not be found out. That's the New World Translation, Luke 12:2. This is an interesting story, isn't it? Watchtower Legal has screamed foul when there is a delay or failure to comply with their demands of irrelevant and meaningless social media account holder data. Yet when it comes to critical child abuse documents subpoenaed by multiple courts, they take evasive maneuvers and waste much time. As of Thursday, February 28, 2019, 5 of the 6 subpoenas have been signed by the judges assigned to each case. And that was given to us by John Redwood, and he gets on John Cedar's channel. So it's a very wicked and powerful organization, and they're trying to hide their secrets and anything that undermines their cult. And they've got the money to do it. It's a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. Now, just a couple more things from the news. What are Jehovah's Witnesses witnesses to? Well, I don't even know the answer to that. As far as I'm concerned, it's a cult. This torture story is they're really pushing that one. Faith groups maintain widespread support for something or other, and so on and so forth. But the Jehovah Witness organization, my God, Jehovah Witnesses parents rope in Nigerian doctor over blood transfusion row. Let's have a look at this. This is in Durban. Okay, Durban, South Africa. The parents of a 5-year-old boy who are preventing the KZN Health Department from giving their chronically ill child a blood transfusion because of their Jehovah Witness beliefs, here we go again, have roped in a Nigerian-based doctor to assist them in their court battle. On Tuesday, a sworn affidavit by Dr. Marcus Anakan, the chief consultant hermatologist at the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital in Nigeria, was submitted to the Durban High Court as the parents of the child and the department continued to lock horns over the blood transfusion issue. And just let me remind you, the blood transfusion teaching was never to be applicable to New Testament salvation or living. That was in Acts chapter 15. Peter said, we're saved by faith through the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, or by grace through faith, right? And because of the legalists, James just gave in and put out 4 points that were to just make them happy and send them away. And he sent out a letter that he should never have sent out. Totally irrelevant to the New Testament. So blood transfusion is not legit. And you know what? The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society may find themselves accountable for all the millions of people that have died because of this doctrine, because it's not legit. If a proper theologian or somebody like that got into a court and really took it to them, they'd lose, because it can easily be proven that the blood transfusion doctrine is not New Testament legit. It's Mosaic law legit, but not New Testament legit. So it's a massive deception. The effort and so on. And so these people now are fighting the Jehovah Witnesses to try and save a little boy's life. Oh, gee, I don't know. It's a nuisance organisation, isn't it? Everywhere you turn, there's some kind of nuisance story to do with the Jehovah Witnesses. JW Kidja, ages 6 to 12, love never fails. This is a regional convention. There's a story there on Lloyd Evans, the John Cedars channel. Satan's techniques in designing false Christian sects. Well, that'd be the Jehovah Witnesses. And there's much more news. Serena Williams and Alex take Olympia to Disneyland. She's a Jehovah Witness, and so on and so forth. But that's my spin at the moment. I don't know about this organisation. It just keeps going on and on with its business. And I think I'm getting ready to have dinner. So I've been on for nearly 20 minutes. I'll give it a bit more time. Just want to say I've never seen an organisation under so much opposition. And the opposition is confronting the organisation based on its lies and deceptions and the breakdowns in its teachings that are causing people to malfunction, the shunning, blood. They're now encouraging people to give money. They always said we wouldn't ask for donations. They've taken more. They are getting everything they can now. They're selling their what do they call it? Their kingdom halls by the dozens all across the world. The organisation's in all sorts of trouble, and for those that are in it, they just can't seem to see it. They must have such a powerful stronghold. That organisation must have such a powerful stronghold over its followers. But the Bible's one of these books that most people don't get time to fully get to the bottom of. As soon as you think you need to put God or Jehovah first in anything, you're in trouble. You will never to put God or Jehovah first. He doesn't need you to put him first. He needs us to put our neighbours first, right? So the blood policy doesn't do that, does it? Shunning doesn't do that, does it? Taking money and spending it on court cases for child abuse people doesn't do that. The 2-witness rule doesn't love your neighbour, does it? Because if a little child comes to you and says, I've been harmed, and then it's just ignored, my goodness me, that is disgraceful. So, oh gosh, they are a nuisance. I'm going to say it again. The Jehovah Witness people and the Jehovah Witness-ism organisation and those that want to get out in the communities and share it are a nuisance. Now, they might be nice people. The Nazis were nice people until they shot someone, or, you know, the Jehovah Witnesses don't salute the flag or anything, yet they'll call the police. They want their cake and eat it too. They're a nuisance organisation. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.